Good morning. How are you?
Very good. It's evening for me. I'm in the UK.
You know what?
So good
Right,
evening to you.
well, good evening to you. I'm kind of jealous because I still have to get through my Friday work day. So congratulations on making it to the weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Just real quick, I want to say that my daughter and I are really big fans of Esme from a series of unfortunate events. We
Well,
always
I'm sorry to hear about that.
we always classify things as being in or out to this day.
And what do you think of this movie? Is it in or out?
Well, you have the right track on there with the Michael Bublé, which for me was a little bit
Yes.
early, but definitely
Yeah.
have to rate this as in because it's quite the twist in your traditional kind of Christmas get together. And of course, we're
Sure.
talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It is a twist.
We're talking about Camille Griffin's Silent Night, which
Yes.
Lucy Punch, you are a star in. Congratulations on the film. Tell us a little bit about your character, Bella.
Bella is one of these group of friends who gets together with, they've all been to school together and they've known each other for years and years. And she's not married. She's one of the only characters, doesn't have kids and isn't married, and sort of is um, a, a bit different to the rest of the characters in that respect and what they're sort of end up sort of dealing with. And she's sort of kind of outrageous and badly behaved, and but sort of but kind and loving with they all love each other very much. So some of the characters are sort of have kind of ugly characteristics, but we sort of are sort of redeeming when you see sort of all the sort of love that they have for each other.
So what was interesting to me is why do you feel it was so important for this group of friends to get together when they knew that it was probably going to be their last time, the last evening alive?
Well, I think it's a sort of game I used to play as a child of like, what happens if this was the last day on earth? What would we do? What would we do right now? What would you eat? What would you do? And it's sort of course you want to be with those people that you love and that are meaningful and that you have had shared experiences with and know you, and to not feel alone. And of course, ultimately, you're always on your own, and it's about sort of being with people that know you, helps you know yourself.
The reason I brought that question up is because Keira Knightley's character and then the rest of her family, Nell, you see them talking with her mom, and it's like, why aren't they with her instead? Why are they trying to get together and even throw all their dirty laundry out in some of those really fun moments? You had
Yeah.
a really fun one, and I found that really interesting.
Well, yeah, I think there was actually in the script, it was like an issue that like of travel that she couldn't get over, but I think there's something really interesting about chosen family, and friends being chosen, and they are a family, and they love each other and get irritated by each other in the same way that families do. And so I thought that was really lovely. And yeah, I love all the sort of the revelations that happen sort of at the last minute. It's like, it's now or never to to speak your truth, which is really nice.
Yeah, it made for some fun moments because it's some people are judging others only to find out that they also have something that they hadn't revealed over, and
Yes.
it's it's what it is, right? What tell me a little bit about your relationship with Alex, because that's who you drive up with. She's played by Kirby Howell Baptiste, and
Yes.
that's where I'll leave it because unfortunately, what I really would love to talk to you about, we cannot, because I do not want to spoil anything for people.
Okay. Well, Alex, played by Kirby, who's fantastic, is my girlfriend. And she's sort of rather put upon, and I'm sort of rather dominating. And I've sort of dragged her along to this party Christmas Day with my friends that aren't really her friends and aren't that welcoming to her, as always, sometimes, you know, not always, but, you know, sometimes with a sort of clique of friends that have known each other, there's just a shorthand. And so she's very kind and sort of, you know, allows, you know, her to spend her sort of last day with Bella's, my character's family, essentially, even though she doesn't feel part of it and she feels left out, and she is sort of continuously. And yeah, they're probably not the best matched couple, but ultimately at the end, my character, you know, she sort of makes a sort of what she thinks is a sort of great sacrifice, and sort of trying to sort of save her in a way of sort of the pain of what's coming. And it's funny, that scene was, we were supposed to shoot that just before it was it got rewritten. It was a much bigger, more dramatic scene, but we were supposed to shoot it just before lockdown happened in England. And so it was like, were we going to get to do it? Were we going to get to do it? And then the production shut down, and we came back and did it a few months later. So that as well, with doing the movie, played such a huge part for me. It was a really, I mean, I loved all the people I was working with. Camille was just a dream, and an amazing director, and now a great friend of mine. But the experience of doing that film while in real life was something very similar was happening at the same time, and very scary. And sort of, we started off, and it was interesting. The first week, no one was talking about it. It was just, and then the second week, ha ha, COVID, it was a bit of a joke. And then the next week, is anyone actually feeling a bit weird? It just, and how fast it happened, and no one took it seriously. And it's sort of interesting because this is, I mean, it's not the same story, but it's the idea of, you know, we're being told that there's this threat, imminent threat of this sort of environmental disaster, and everyone's like, God, it's really bad, isn't it? Yeah, we better not, you know, but oh well, we can't see it right now. We can't see the looming cloud, so we can just get on with our lives. And it's sort of, before it's too late, you know, it's wake up. So that was extraordinary, really, doing a film like this during that time.
Yeah. Talking with Camille yesterday, she was talking about all that unfortunate timing when it comes to doing this film, because then you're also kind of dealing with the exit pill that there's a lot of controversy between the characters on whether they want to use it or not. And then now with what's going on with, you know, with wherever anyone is, right or left on vaccines, it's like, no, this isn't a comment on that. This is totally different. It's just the timing is just not great.
Well, I kind of think it is great, because I mean, and that obviously at the time wasn't, we didn't know about that. That wasn't that movie wasn't, the movie's not about that at all. In it now, it feels like it does with it when it's coming out. But I think it's the great thing about it is it's such a you know, there's so many discussion points coming from it. There's so much to talk about, and bigger ideas, intentional or not, from the film.
I think that's such a beautiful part about filmmaking, is that sometimes the vision of filmmakers, in this case like Camille, are able to put together a story that maybe feels far out into the future, or maybe is kind of like a satirical like stretch of things. And then as we progress, it's like, oh no, that's actually
and then suddenly it's happening right now, which is that's what I mean. It was extraordinary and scary. So yeah, it feels very timely to me, this film.
It's a really good time all together for all those reasons. What is it that initially drew you to this project?
I loved the script. I felt like I read it and I knew all those characters. That felt really different and real. And I was completely taken by surprise by it, by the twist, that I was sort of thinking I was on one ride and suddenly got shunted off the tracks onto something completely different and unexpected. And I thought it was seamless. It felt you're still in the same world and in the same movie. And I thought that was really, really clever. I loved the camaraderie and the friendships felt real. All those relationships felt real. And I just the bigger ideas in the film were really interesting to me. And of course, I came on quite late. And so this incredible cast was already attached. And that was, really appealing to get to work with everyone. I did a call with Camille Griffin, the director, and fell in love with her and was just, absolutely thrilled to be a part of it.
So one final question. What would you do on a final night?
God, what would I do? I think you'd want to find those people. You want to be with the people. I definitely feel like there'd be alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. For sure. And I guess I hope there would be laughter and joy and some dancing. I love the scene in the film, where it's the alcohol fueled and it cuts in and out with them all kind of desperate and dancing and that sort of manic energy. Yes, and then maybe find some peace just before or not. I mean, it's an interesting thing because it's a sort of the idea of being able to prepare and know exactly when it's going to happen is sort of not natural. But again, like I said, it's a game that we've all played. What would you do? What would you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It sends it the entire time when I'm thinking about it. It's like knowing it's just you're right. It's unnatural.
You're talking about your kid. That totally is a different thing as well. Because if you have children or responsibility, that's you're protecting them and you don't want them to be fearful. And and that I thought that was really nice in the film that the characters that had children, the choices that they were making, rightly or wrongly, in the name of love for their children.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of trying to think about, well, if we all got to go, what if I go before them? And whew,
yeah.
That's definitely a whole other terrifying conversation. But I mean, it all comes together in a great film. So Lucy, I want to thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you, and hello to your daughter.
Yeah, actually, I'll show this to her, and she's gonna have a nice little smile on her.
Oh, good.
Funny enough, I just talked to Tony Hale a couple of about 2 weeks ago.
Did? Oh, I love him. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So I hope you have a good evening. And
thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. You'll
Thank
get
you.
through it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. After a good chat with you, it's all going to be good.
Lovely.
Thanks. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.